if I live in a universe, if I believe and truly perceive that I live in a universe that is hostile and dangerous, I will naturally live my life from a place of defensiveness, of blocking things out. I will naturally live in a state of aggression, because I have to protect and fight for my survival. I will be constantly in a state of fight or flight, which, as I mentioned earlier, blocks our ability to think creatively. If, on the other hand, I live in a universe that is loving, supportive, and safe, I naturally will live or have my moment-to-moment living be open. I'm able to experience people from a place of openness, of trust, of safety, of being able to be present. I'm not fleeing and I'm not fighting. And this state of mind, of course, creates a very, very different set of experiences. So if we apply that, just that simple question, what kind of universe do I live in, to the question of healing, to the question of wellness, then one could say, again, within that paradigm of what kind of universe do I live in, that healing tends to be motivated more from a state of consciousness of moving away from a set of symptoms or an illness or a disease process. So moving away from that which I don't want in my life, rather than wellness, which tends to be, in my experience, motivated by a desire to move towards something I want. So they're very different motivations, they're very different perceptions, and the end result is completely different as a result of this, because perception determines how we experience things and how we respond to what we're experiencing. And another thing I shared at the gathering was that one of my favorite quotes of Mother Teresa, or stories that is told about her, is that she was at a gathering once and was asked whether she would join a protest against the war. And it was a protest that was, I believe, against the Vietnam War. Don't quote me on that. And she declined without an explanation. And people were shocked and surprised because everyone knew her to be a pacifist. And as she was leaving the gathering, she turned back around and then she just announced, "But if you ever have a march for peace, I will be there." And that to me is really the essence of the distinction between what kind of universe do I live in and healing versus wellness. And everything that we do, what is the core motivation? Are we moving towards a vision that we have? Or are we just moving away from what we don't want? Very, very different outcome. The beauty about principles, and I learned this 100% from my teachers in traditional Chinese medicine. Principles, if they are correct, if they are true principles, they can be applied to any sphere of our lives. So it can be applied to a detox program, it can be applied to a relationship, it can be applied to a business, to a government, to a country, to your finances. And so how we feel as we're moving through life with each of these different perspectives is night and day. And it's our choice. I don't believe there's an absolute right or an absolute wrong. I really don't. In nature, you see both principles at play. You see the seasons where it's all about growth and, spring and summer, and you see autumn and winter, which are all about going inward and decay, contraction. Inhale, exhale, inhalation, exhalation. They're actually linked. But in terms of consciousness, we do have to make a choice. They don't coexist very well. And there are times when one consciously says, right now I need to let go of things in my life. I need to simplify. I need to streamline. But that's a very different thing than moving away from, I'm afraid of X, Y, Z as my
fear, it's trust.
not fear-based.
Yeah.
It's not fear-based.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, here's to world wellness.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Donna. That's
Thanks,
great.
Karina.
Thank you very much.